Meeting to order. This meeting has been posted in accordance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law, and all members are present with the exception of Linda Graham. We have a quorum. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item is the initial public comment period. Public comment during this portion of the meeting must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. Each person has up to 5 minutes to speak on a specific agenda item, and the public may call 702-589-9629 to provide comment. If there's anyone in the audience, which there isn't, that would be the time.
Sorry to interrupt, we're getting a panic alarm from the mayor's seat. Somebody hit a button back there?
Not that I know of. Didn't even know there was a button.
Was there?
I imagine there's gotta be someone or some button back here. It's being activated. Sending it all over.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, I feel something. Maybe my knee,
Yeah,
Caught
probably.
it. right here? Yeah, there's a little something.
Yeah, I would imagine it's probably discreet so people don't see you hitting it.
Typical.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Good to know it works.
Just testing you. Well,
Ray hit the panic button.
well, hearing no callers, we'll proceed to the first agenda item, which is approval of minutes for, pardon me, what date was that? Can someone help me with that, sir? With the January 25th, 2023 regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as printed.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Passes unanimously. So, on to agenda item number 2 for possible discussion. Discussion with Northwind Resources Consulting on potential changes to the adopted exterior guidelines for various properties in the historic district. And with that, I'll turn it over to Courtney Mooney.
Thank you, and good evening, Commission. Before you are the final design guidelines based on all of the comments that we've received from the Commission and staff. And once again, I'd like to thank the Commission and staff for all of the thorough reviews and comments. I think it's really helped to make these good documents. And I just want to see if there are any questions, any more input you might have on these final documents now that you've seen them. And of course, our next step is to work on the non-contributing design guidelines.
Okay, thank you, Courtney. Well, does anybody have any questions or comments for Courtney?
I have a couple of little things. Page 17 of 91 is a picture of the craftsman style, private construction, blah, 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 multifamily, but it's on the back of the late Gothic revival style and in front of the Spanish ranch style. I think it's just, the picture's just in the wrong place, I think.
Well, the text comes first, so on page 16 is the text for craftsman style, so page 17 is the photo display for craftsman style.
Oh, somehow my pages are out of order. Oh, that's probably operator error, I suspect. Huh. I'll be darned, I don't know how that. Okay, well, that takes care of that one. And then on page 65 of 91, is this picture in the right place? There's a picture of, well, maybe I've got the same problem there. Maybe I've got the page in the wrong place. Never mind, I don't know why my pages are out of order. Huh. I can't even blame it on the dog, I don't have a dog. But I do have a couple of questions, Courtney.
Okay.
That, just for clarification.
Sure.
These guidelines and the addresses that are included with the guidelines include contributing and non-contributing buildings, okay? As I understand it, because the contributing buildings are highlighted. No, that's not true, is it? That isn't true, no. It's the eligible, individually eligible. So all of the buildings that are listed here are contributing buildings.
Correct.
And we haven't done, you haven't done the non-contributing buildings yet.
Correct.
Okay. And
That's our next step.
and then the third one is, my understanding was that there's going to be guidelines for new construction, and that will come later then.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, this is fine. As soon as I get my pictures all in order, I think it'll be just fine. I don't know what happened with that. But yeah, I don't have any comments with, you've done a beautiful job.
Fantastic, thank you.
What the hell that happened?
Blair, did you have some comments?
Hey, this is Blair. I had one comment, and I may have a couple of others if I look really closely as far as just edits. And I'm looking at the online agenda, and it doesn't have page numbers. So it's the Late Gothic Revival style religious/Grace Community Church photograph, the first photograph of the church, and it's pointing to the arched double leaf entrance, and facade is misspelled.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
But also, I wanted to suggest that facade, if you use I don't know what you call that, C, but that should be consistent. The FAC, the second, or, the only C in facade, has it's not a tilde, but whatever they're called.
Right, okay. Some of that may
And that's
have
it.
gotten lost when it went back and forth between InDesign and PDF, but, so thank you for catching that.
And that's it. Looks great.
Thank you.
this whole damn thing apart.
And I would just like to say it looks great. Thank you very much, Courtney. Everything looks wonderful.
Thank you so much.
It's nice to move on. It's been a long,
And with that, we'll move on.
Vice Chair Turner, if we may, if we could have a motion recommending the design guidelines to the city council, that'll kind of close the loop on these as presented with the modified changes.
Okay, then I move that we accept these modifications to the historic preservation guidelines as presented this evening.
If I may, just to slightly rephrase, that you would make a motion recommending approval of the design guidelines as presented with the minor modifications identified by the commission.
So I move to approve the guidelines with the modifications.
Recommend.
Recommend
To the
I
city council,
recommend
yeah.
to the city council approval of the of the updated guidelines and
With the modifications
With-
presented by the commission.
with the modifications presented by the commission.
Thank you.
Michael.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have one
Aye.
question, Director Mays. What happens if there are any other typos or something that are noticed after this? Do we have the opportunity to address those?
Yes, certainly, if any other typos are identified, those would be corrected before this would be presented to the city council.
Okay, sounds good. Just want to make sure. We've all looked at this so many times, so it's good to have another set of eyes, so we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Courtney.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney.
Okay, and with that, we'll move on to agenda item number 3 for possible action, discussion regarding activities for Historic Preservation Day and award for 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For tonight, a key item for the commission to discuss is the timing for the various events throughout the day and whether any are going to overlap with each other. And it looks like Member Hans has provided a draft potential schedule for this, so we'll let him go over that.
Okay, let me see if I've got the right page numbers in this. Okay.
Does Blair have a copy of this?
Well, no, Blair unfortunately does not have a copy of this because Blair's in New Orleans and I didn't get this done until 15 minutes ago.
Is there any way we can put it on the screen so she can maybe see it? Hold up to camera or something? Is that a possibility?
Were we provided a digital copy, Charlie? Or just?
I could, I didn't, but I could,
You know what?
Okay.
yeah. I didn't think to do that. I could have emailed or texted Blair a copy of the thing.
Or we just take a quick picture of it and email it to her?
I could. You want me to do that?
Michael's getting a copy scanned. Huh?
We'll see who's faster.
Yeah, we'll see here's a photo. Come on.
City planner. I'm always a city planner.
My damn phone is doing weird stuff.
We don't have a secretary for this commission.
Photos. No, there. What? Okay, I just sent it to her. Blair, are you there? I just sent you a text.
Blair, are you there?
She's not there. Yeah, I don't know. She must not be there. She would be saying something. But you'd think she'd call back if she.
Well, we called her though.
Well, that's true, but
She's still on there. Blair?
she maybe just had to leave the phone for a moment.
We don't know if she's still on the line, but her phone number's.
I'm still here, sorry. Sorry, I have a new phone and I'm not quite adept at using it. When I switch around to email, text, phone, anyway. So I'm looking to see if I got your text or your email, and it's probably gonna take a while, so.
Well, and I sent you a text, Blair.
My text isn't working, so I just got from Michael, okay, I've got what Michael sent.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're ready. Well, this thing I've handed out is just a response essentially to the list that Susan has provided for a timeline and sort of a brief discussion of, so if I just go down the list, in the Railroad Museum, the first event will be from 8 to 8:30. They'll open the maintenance shop building, and that's where the introductory portion will begin. So there will be tables set up, donuts and coffee, that sort of thing. Hopefully with some posters, and I need some information, I guess, from Michael or Susan as to if we provide pictures, photographs of various railroad engines and et cetera, can they be enlarged and put on a poster board or something for, set on an easel, and how do we do that? Or can we do that?
You'd have to have a digital form, of a photograph, and basically the city can supply, the boards and the glue materials, but design of the posters, and putting them together is pretty much a commission task.
Okay, all right, well, that's fine. So if I give you a digital copy of a photograph of the steam engine or something, you can put it on, or the city can put it on.
As I said, the putting together,
well,
we
okay.
can provide the supplies.
Okay, you give me
But
the
the time
right.
involved with
Yeah.
putting that stuff
Okay,
together,
okay,
that
all
would
right,
be
all right.
for a commission member to come in and do that.
But you would print or have it printed?
Yes, we
Okay,
could,
okay, yeah.
print a poster-sized paper
okay.
version of it, but how you may want to design it or arrange it,
All
or,
right,
cut
perfect. All
it, and maybe you want multiple photos on
Yeah.
one board, that's all up to
Okay,
you.
but that's all I wanted to know. I don't mind doing it, yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
we can
okay,
work with you
perfect.
on that.
All right, so but I do need a digital copy though to give to you, okay. The tables and chairs, the museum will provide all the tables and chairs. We do need to determine, the commission needs to determine how many tables we need, because I don't know, BCHAF gonna have 2 tables or 1 table, or?
I was thinking 2 tables for the historic art.
Okay, oh, okay.
Sorry, 2 tables for the historic art contest should be sufficient.
So 2 tables, is that a BCHAF thing?
It's a partnership, yes.
Okay,
between,
well, all right, okay, so 2 tables there. The commission presumably will have 1 table, I guess, with,
Well, we probably need 1 table for, like, we're gonna hand out flyers of the agenda for the day, and a greet table, and then probably another table for the coffee and donuts if
right.
we
and
go
then-
that route. So
yeah.
we'll need minimum 2 there. I don't know, are they 8-foot tables, 6-foot tables?
Yeah, they're 8-foot tables, yeah.
Yeah, then we should probably be fine with 2 tables, I would
So
think.
we only
for
need
good.
4, maybe 5 tables, and, well, the railroad might want to have something set up. I'll talk to them about that. But they are going to provide the tables and the chairs, so we don't need to mess with that. But I do need to know how many. The information about the day's events, I looked at the thing you gave us, Susan, for the last year, and schedule of events thing, which for some reason I can't, oh, here it is. This Boulder City Historic Preservation Day schedule of events that we had last year that you provided, I assume we'll do something similar to this. I mean, it will be, is that the flyer or is that a handout at the, I don't remember whether this was handed out at the, or whether it was a flyer that was sent around or,
Basically, it's, as I recall in the past, what you would do is you would have a map on one side of your different venues, and then the schedule on the other side, and then it would just be a trifold or a handout, so that,
that was this,
right,
with a map on the back side.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that would be one sheet of paper that people could take around, and as I recall last year, our GIS staff was able to do that all digitally, so that people from the map could download, that had a QR code on it, so they could download the map,
okay.
and then that would, when they, tapped on a location, it would provide a description of the event and the time for that event at each
So
location.
do I need to provide you a digital copy of a,
No, but once we have all your venues and activities settled, then we can start working on a map.
okay,
So for instance, at least now we know an extra part of the event is going to be the art contest again this year, because it wasn't mentioned previously.
yeah, right.
But at least that, I guess what we would do, and then on the map is we'll mention that the displays of that will be at the railroad maintenance building,
okay.
now that we have a location.
But I don't need to provide, because one of the things that we talked about, we being the railroad and I, is having a map that shows the railroad right-of-way down to the dam, okay? And there is, I have some different copies that outline that railroad, although it might get too busy.
Whatever you want to have as handouts for the event will be, if the railroad isn't making copies, if it's for their stuff, we can certainly make copies,
Okay.
but yeah, obviously you have to
I'll-
provide us.
I'll talk to Dr. McMahon and see, because they have their open house, I think it's the second weekend in March. So they're gonna have a big event at the railroad, so I'll check on some of that kind of stuff. See how many groups, okay, then coffee, donuts, and cups, does the city provide the coffee, do they do that? They've done that in the past, haven't they? or-
No, I believe in the past, members have found donors for that, but the city can provide funding for
Oh,
those
okay,
supplies.
Okay, but,
So if,
but we need to go to, we being the commission needs to go to,
Like last year, I think Michael, I know he picked, I don't know if he bought it, but he picked up all the donuts and coffee from Starbucks, and we got the coffee from Starbucks, I forget, the donuts came from Albertsons.
Yeah, as I recall, one of the commission members arranged for the donation of the coffee, and then the city purchased the donuts.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, okay.
so anyway, I'll look into that then.
That's me for the.
And either, well, anyway, I'll look into that. So coffee, okay, but the city will provide money to buy the donuts if we have to, if we don't get them donated.
oh, certainly,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
And,
all right.
we'll, napkins and cups, unless if you find a donor for the coffee, ask if they donate their cups. They,
Sure.
they might have their logo cups that they definitely want.
Oh, yeah,
to be
exactly.
used.
Little plug for there. Michael, do you remember, or one of you guys remember how much coffee we got last year? How,
I think Michael bought, I think, what, two of those kind of big square jugs you get from Starbucks.
So,
I don't know if I-
yeah, we had at least 2 carafes, and we had plenty leftovers,
Yeah.
both with the coffee and the donuts. So I would recommend reducing that
Okay,
from
two.
last
I
year.
think, didn't you also have a water in case somebody wanted tea?
Hot water, yes.
I think.
that was donated.
Oh,
last
you
year.
had another carafe of water,
Mm.
yeah.
okay, and what,
Add to that, that I will approach the Starbucks.
Okay, that's
And
fine.
arrange for the
Okay.
coffee.
I will put Ray down here, and I don't have to worry about that. What about water, by the way? Can the city provide money to buy bottled water to have?
I think it's safe to say we can purchase the donuts, the napkins, the plates,
All
and
that
bottles
stuff.
of water.
Okay. Okay. Then there was a question on your, well, not a question, I guess, but on the thing that you put out, Susan, posters, flyers, displays, and name badges. Does the city provide the name, do we get like a lanyard with a name badge? Is that what we're talking about with that?
I don't think we have lanyard holders, but
Or
we've-
maybe it was.
we had, we'll
Whatever.
provide you what we've provided
Oh,
in the
okay.
past, which
All
is a
right, so-
variety of options you could use. But I think before you said you had your own lanyard.
Well, yeah, I've got
You
a
wanted-
box full of them. I don't know, probably everybody does, yeah. So, okay, so that's posters, and your note on here is notify city by April 26th, Historic Preservation Commission meeting. So is that, we're notifying about posters, flyers, displays, or?
Yeah, I mean,
What
this-
do you need to have by the 26th of April?
Well, if you want to be making posters and flyers,
Okay.
you can't tell us 2 days before the event that you want them.
So as soon as I can get a digital copy of some of the, if that's what we want to do, I can get that to you. If I do that in March, that should be fine.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
good. And a little note you had in here, return to city after event. I'm sure the museum will take care of cleaning up, because all the tables are gonna be theirs, the chairs are gonna be theirs. I mean, I'm sure they have garbage cans to put the,
Well, if you're gonna be wanting large posters, then you'll want easels, and those are city property. So if you're wanting those delivered, you have to make sure, somebody
they
needs
get
to be
back, yeah.
responsible for getting those back to City
and I'll look
Hall.
into, I know they have some easels because I saw them there the other day, and so I don't know how many we need, but I will coordinate with you or Michael, whoever I need to.
Right, that's what you'll wanna work out over the
Any
next
that we
month.
take from the city will have to come back. Okay, that's fine, but, and then, okay, so that's basically then, well, sound equipment, if they need it, they'll provide sound equipment, so we don't need sound equipment from the
That's what
city.
you have to ask. If they're doing a verbal presentation, ask them if they.
Oh, I already have.
Oh.
They will provide the sound. They don't
Okay.
need any sound equipment from the city, yeah. And then the banners, I don't know anything about the banners. so-
We're getting a quote for new banners.
Okay, and I assume one will be on a table and,
Yeah, I would think it'd be good to have one at the table, but one other thought I had is, when you go up Yucca Street to the museum, it's obvious that the trains are on the right-hand
Yeah.
side, but there isn't anything kind of pointing to the maintenance area for the,
well, I
As
made a
being part
note
of it,
on,
so I
I
think
made
if
a
we
note
get
on
some-
here that
some
we
signage
made,
to
I made a
point
note,
that
if you'd read it, that says may need a direction sign at the railroad parking lot, because, yes, you're exactly right. People are gonna go to the parking lot, but the event is in the maintenance building, so there needs to be a sign there, but I'll see that that gets made, or we'll have someone there from the Friends directing traffic, which will probably be better anyway. So I will coordinate that with the Friends. But yeah, you're right, you're exactly right.
yeah, because
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
notice that
Yeah, 'cause
that's
the-
even part of the
So.
railroad, so.
So anyway, that's from 8 to 8:30-ish. I made a note that the maintenance shop building will be open beginning at 8 o'clock for people that there will be docents, I'll use that term docents, but there'll be someone there from the Friends that can direct traffic and see that nobody falls in the hole where the trains are and gets run over or whatever. But the maintenance building, the maintenance shop, they've told me they will keep it open all day for people, anybody that might want to come back and look at the trains because it's an interesting building and people don't get in there very often. I mean, that's where they do all their restoration work and maintenance work and so on. So and there's a beautiful old railroad car in there from the Eureka Railroad that's worth looking at. But so anyway, then about 8:30 to sometime around 8:45, 8:50, in introductory remarks, I assume by one of us, probably Blair, to introduce Dr. McMahon and just a general introduction of what's going to go on for the event. And that's a short, and I've talked to Dr. McMahon about that it'll be a brief introductory sort of thing. And then I've allowed 15 minutes to transition up to the platform, which is where the trains are, the actual trains are. And then I've allowed an hour there for a presentation by Dr. McMahon, which is very similar to what he did last year. He talked about the preservation, the maintenance, the various engines and the cars and et cetera. And I'm pretty sure that they will have that same car. I can't remember the name of the car. It's one of the, what do they call the, what's? Vanderbilt car? Yeah, it's a Vanderbilt, I think, it's a Vanderbilt car or something like that. It's a fancy car, okay, that you can tour. And then the caboose, they offer it. So I allowed an hour for that because depending on how many people you have, of course, you got to shuffle people through all of these places and so on. So, and then I presume that Dr. McMahon can put a plug in for some of the other activities that happen during that period. So by 10 o'clock then, the events at the museum should be done. And then I've got a half an hour time slot in here for, I just call it the Railroad Ticket Office and Associated Buildings. It's the Busy Bee. I don't know whether any of you have noticed that there, a gal has leased that little tiny building from Gordon, and she has a little gift shop thing in there. It's really a cute little place, but I would like to have a presentation there about not only that little building, because that's the oldest extant building in Boulder City. That was one of the very first buildings that was ever built here, and it predates the city. So it's got a history to it. And then there's 3 other buildings there that also were part of the complex at the time. And then one of the part of the presentation there, I want to and I say I'm hoping I can get someone so that I don't have to do it, but to give a little history of I don't think people realize that there were actually 3 separate railroads here in Boulder City, and they had different functions. And so again, just a history of and I don't see that being a long, 15, 20-minute spiel, basically. So by 10:30-ish, the railroad portion that says Charlie on it will be done.
Okay, and since now you're saying the Busy Bee business is operational there?
Yes.
And so you've already spoken to
Oh, yeah.
the lessee of that shop, and
Yeah, and
she's
she's
good
tickled.
for that time period with people coming for that purpose?
And she's tickled she can use the,
Attention, okay.
yeah, well, in that building, I mean, I think it's 10 feet by 10 feet, I think. It might even be 8 feet by 8 feet. It's a tiny little building. But it actually has a restroom in it, if you can imagine. So anyway, that's what I have to date. But Susan, I'll get some of this stuff to you and you know, you can. And by the way, just so you know, I have joined the Friends of the Railroad. So I'm actually a member of the Friends of the Railroad now, so it makes it a little bit easier to transition some of this stuff to that. If I can't get friends to talk, I can be one of the friends, so.
Okay, so now at least in terms of filling in some blanks on the schedule, the Railroad Museum event portion is from 8 AM to 10 AM then.
Yeah, basically, yeah, that's, yep, 10 o'clock, and then 10 to 10:30 is that ticket office
Ticket office
building.
building. So I guess, the question for Ray is, well, I guess perhaps before we find out what hours would be for the water filtration plant, because maybe that should be after everything so that people aren't diluted between events. I guess we want to hear from Blair as to whether or not she's got any more info about activities for the railroad tunnels and/or Safety First building.
So I can give you an update. I did hear from the Park Service, and this is what they can offer. Their public affairs person, or PIO, can offer social media posts that highlight the historic railroad tunnels and the online tour that the Park Service has created. And I just need to work with them to, you know, give them information about the events of the day so that they can advertise them on their social media. And so I have a contact for that. And then they are willing to offer a railroad trail tour. It would be limited to 25 people. The Park Service would manage the sign-up sheet so that they have the appropriate information and quantity of people. The question that they have is what time of day would that tour be? And is there a time limit that they have to stick to, which would dictate how long the tour would be? And I have a contact for that. They will not make the warehouse open to the public. There's too much security concerns to that building. So what I would suggest is we, the commission, can create a poster about the warehouse and maybe have that available at the Railroad Museum. We've got plenty of pictures and some text that we could easily make a poster for that. My question, though, about the tour of the railroad tunnels is I'm a little concerned about having it in the afternoon in May. I think it's maybe a little warm, or it could potentially be warm. So do you think we should have the tour on another day in the morning? Or do we want a walking tour provided by a park ranger? I guess I should ask that first.
Blair, I was just curious because I believe people can just walk the railroad tunnel trails on their own. So is the idea that the Park Service personnel would be doing kind of like a guided history tour?
Correct.
Oh, well then that would definitely be something we'd want to advertise because apparently, I'm assuming that's not something that's normally available, correct?
Correct. What is available is there's an online tour of the tunnels that you know, we can advertise and the Park Service can advertise. But if we want something that's in person, the Park Service is willing to conduct such a tour.
Okay, and just to clarify, when you say they have an online tour, is that like a virtual tour where people just
Yes,
do
it's
it
like
from?
a virtual tour, like through YouTube.
Okay,
Yeah.
Or they
and,
just-
I can send you the link and,
right.
you know, we can deal with that. But do we want to tour that day or do we want to tour on another day? Or wait, do we want to tour at all? for the
Can
public.
I think we should have the tour. I think it's a good idea to have it on another day. It is Historic Preservation Month, so does it, I mean, I think that would be pretty neat to have that separate little thing to do apart from Historic Preservation Day on another, whether it's the day after or the following weekend, or I don't know when it might take place. Blair, when were you thinking?
I was definitely thinking in the morning sometime and a weekend, maybe like that Sunday could work. If not, the Saturday before or the Saturday after.
Well, I've got a thought, if we do it sometime after Historic Preservation Day, because that Historic Preservation Day at the welcome booth, we could probably put a sheet out for people that are interested and get people signed up for it and find out if we can get 20, 25 people that would be interested in doing it. They could sign up, pre-sign up, and we know who would be interested in going. Just,
Okay. Let me talk to the Park Service to see what days are available. If they would prefer it to be on a Saturday as opposed to a Sunday. I have a feeling they would prefer a Saturday, so I will ask them if the preceding Saturday or the Saturday after would work, and if the Saturday after is preferred, then we would work with them to come up with the 25 people, to, make sure that the 25 people are signed up appropriately. So that's where I don't know, how far in advance do they need to know that there are 25 people?
And Blair, I don't know whether this is a positive or a negative. If you're trying for the Saturday prior, I believe that's when Spring Jamboree is. I believe it's
Oh,
always
good point.
first weekend in May, I believe.
Okay.
And like I said, that's not necessarily a detriment. I mean, you don't already
What
have
time
it.
does the Spring Jamboree start? Like 10-ish? Or is it first thing in the morning? I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty much all day Saturday.
Because, we could do the tour in the morning starting at 8, and if it's like an hour-long tour, then it's over by 9, and Spring Jamboree starts at 10. Then it wouldn't conflict too much, but you're right. It would be better to maybe do it later, the following Saturday.
well, that's what, kind of my thought was, we could have a sign-up sheet on Historic Preservation Day and see if we can get 25 people that are interested in history that would want to do it, and then we'd have a list all prepared and let them know when, it's gonna be, and if we only got 3 people sign up, well, let the Park Service know we only got 3 people.
Okay. All right, let's go with that suggestion, unless somebody else has an opinion about that, and then I will work with the Park Service to make that so.
Blair, I have a question. You say what we're probably gonna have to do in terms of the Safety First building is to put a poster up at the museum. Were you thinking of any kind of a presentation, or just have a picture of the Safety First building and, I'm just
So,
thinking
yeah, I
about
guess
time,
What I
because,
was curious about is we're supposed to kind of come up with a map of all the railroad resources, or as many railroad resources that there are. And perhaps we highlight that warehouse on this map handout that we're conceptualizing.
okay.
And, then that's just a point on a map, and then the poster there at the Railroad Museum would have a few pictures of the building and plus a text about it. If the Railroad Museum would like to talk about it, we could make that offer to them or ask them if they would like to talk about the Railroad Museum. I mean, the warehouse, sorry.
Well, I'm just thinking about time is all. I don't know. Well, first of all, from the impression that I have, there really isn't anyone at the Railroad Museum that knows in depth about the Safety First building. I mean, that's something that that they don't have anything to do with anymore because it belongs to the Park Service and there's no railroad function there at all, from my understanding. But I don't, I mean, I think the idea of having a poster up is fine, and you're right about having a map that shows all of the railroad. So I don't have a problem. I'm just thinking about the time frame. If,
So then if there's no time for the Railroad Museum folks to talk about it, then we won't go there, and we'll just do a poster, and it's just available for people to look at and view.
well, I mean, I could just add 15 minutes to my little scheme here, and then that would probably be enough. But
Where would you add your 15 minutes?
well, just at the end.
Oh, okay. But that's if somebody can talk about it. But if nobody can talk about it, then what's the point of? Carving out 15 minutes.
Exactly. So we need to find out if somebody can talk about it, I guess. So, and actually, I could talk to Chuck, the guy that we talked to the other day. He might. Well, no, that'd take an hour and a half. Let him go. Never mind. No, that's fine. That's fine. I just bring it up to. It's a shame that they won't let us in that building. I don't know why they won't, but whatever. So we'll just leave it the way it is.
Okay. So, so speaking of posters, I'm trying to keep track of what posters we're talking about. So I can, because normally, Charlie, you asked, how do we make posters? And usually what I would do is I'd come up with the design, using PowerPoint or whatever, and just, I dump pictures in and text, and then I send it to Susan, and then the city, enlarges it and mounts it on poster board. So I'm happy to continue that, whatever, topic poster we want to do. And so in addition to the Safety First building, potentially maybe do one for the railroad tunnels. I'm not sure. I'll have to talk to the Park Service. But did you want one for the railroad ticket office?
Well, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, we might. Yeah, I when I was saying posters, I was in my mind, I'm thinking photos. But now that you mention that, a post, some explanatory information on a poster would be worthwhile, and we might do that. So I'll think about what we can do at the ticket office. But yeah, I like the idea of posters. Yeah, Blair, that's good, because I'm thinking of that map that I would like to share with people that has the railroad essentially from Las Vegas down to the dam, and we could make a poster out of that with an explanation about the different railroads, and yeah, so I like that idea. Yeah, we'll work on that. I'll work on that. Yeah. But then, in addition to that,
is it okay, Susan, that I send him a version of what the posters look like, so he has an idea? Or I don't know if you have one right there. You can show people, but
No, we don't have any photos, I don't think, in the packet of the prior posters, but I can email you and Charlie the ones that you had designed before for the water filtration plant.
yeah, the water,
and,
they had a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Blair does a nice job with the design and text, so. Mhm. If she's willing to do it, and like she said, we would certainly be able to print it and get it on a board.
I can paste.
Well, good.
okay. Well, that's, I think, on the to-do list, is to figure out how many posters and what the posters are going to talk about. So, and I wasn't sure how many still existed and what condition they were in that we've used in the past. So, I think that was the question I had for Susan. One of my many questions about the condition of those posters,
We'll pull them
and
out.
if I have to redo them or
Yeah, we can,
whatever.
if we need to reprint them, they can be reprinted.
So that's all I have for the National Park Service, unless you guys have any questions.
So it sounds like we're not having, we won't call it a railroad tunnels event. It's just going to be basically an information poster that will be at, located at, along with the other poster display at the museum then.
Well, there will be a railroad tunnel
Oh,
event in the way
Yes,
of
it'll be
a tour.
you're right,
guided
an
tour.
event on a different day, and obviously we would advertise that as part of the schedule of events. It would just be on a different day.
Mm-hmm, yep.
In that case, then, if I'm hearing everything correctly, we've got the event starting from 8 to 10 at the Railroad Museum, 10 to 10:30 at the ticket office building. And since the railroad tunnel tour will be on a different day, then does it make sense perhaps then to have the tour of the water filtration plant open from 10:30 to noon or 10:30 to 1? However long Ray might want to do that, but if you don't start it at least to 10:30, then you are hopefully encouraging people to go to the Railroad Museum, which is the focus of the event.
What I had in mind was like same for last year, well, actually longer, from 9 a.m. For the public, 9 a.m. till 12:30. Last year we finished it at noon, but we still had people showing up at just before closing. So, you know, I
But,
thought next year let's keep it maybe a half hour longer. I thought so, and you know, as far as the filtration plant being open for tours and everything, I wouldn't be. I would just have it open and available for viewing, and not necessarily a main focus of the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just, you know, let people know that it's there, it's open, if anybody wants to, that hasn't already had a chance to see it, so.
but are you saying you want it, the open hours overlapping with the railroad events?
Well, it
Does-
always overlaps with all of the events.
Well, it has, but it doesn't necessarily need to. I think
Yeah,
the
but it works
concern.
well. It has worked well for us in the past, so I'd be reluctant to change that.
I was-
Unless somebody from the committee felt it, you know, needed to be done differently. Personally, I don't. I think it's worked great in previous events with the overlapping, and I don't think it's drawn anybody away from any events.
Well, there might just be some people that just might want to just go to the filtration plant because they haven't had an opportunity to see it.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, 'cause a lot of
Big
the,
enough
lot of the
window.
railroad museum is open all the time, where the water filtration plant is open rarely. So, and
Yeah.
if people might already seen all the train stuff and they've got enough train in their system, they don't need anymore, but they haven't had an opportunity to see the water filtration plant. So, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, no, I'd be reluctant to change the hours for that.
If we got somebody, you know, if Ray's willing to be there, I don't think it's gonna draw anything away from the people visiting the Railroad Museum. I don't think that it's gonna cut into that crowd at all.
I don't really have it, I mean, I'm looking at the schedule of events from last year, and there was that overlap. I mean, the Dam Roast House event was from 9 to 9:45, and the Historic Water Filtration Plant started at 9 o'clock to noon. I mean, I think we could go ahead and, it would be on the schedule. If we did a schedule like the one that was done last year, I mean, it just fits in there. I don't have a problem with it opening at 9 o'clock.
Blair, did you have any thoughts on that? Blair?
I would like to see it not open until after 9, the water filtration plant. I feel like it would be nice to kind of show that there's only one event between 8 and 9.
Right,
that-
so the hours I propose are 9 till 12:30.
And I think that would be fine, if not 9:30, because people will be at the museum until 9. And so give them 15 minutes, a half hour. I don't know. Is a half hour going to make it or break it for you, or
For,
Open at
the water
9:30
filtration
instead of-
plant? To open at 9:30 instead of 9.
I'm fine with that. 9:30 till 12:30.
Would that work for you?
That's good, that's fine. You guys, anyone else have any?
I'm comfortable with that.
No, I don't have a problem with it. Like I said, it will fit in the schedule of events, just like last year. There's a, yeah. I mean, I don't, yeah, the people that are interested in the railroad are going to go through the railroad thing till 10:30, and they can go to the filtration plant afterwards. And people that aren't interested in the railroad could go to the filtration plant at 9:30, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
9:30,
Okay.
9:30 to 12:30.
Well, unless you have other events that you can come up with in a very short order, it sounds like, go ahead.
I've got one, the Boulder Dam Hotel is having their 90th, this is their 90th anniversary. And they're going to have, I think Tiani calls them pop-up events, but they're going to be open all day on Historic Preservation Day for just a drop-in anytime. They're going to have displays and so on. So I would like to include it on our list of events as a, it's kind of the same as with the filtration plant. It basically could be an all-day. So if we can slip it in, I don't know where to
Little-
put it on the,
A little blurb on our flyer that
Yeah,
this
just
is an
a-
event that's
yeah.
also going on during the day. But we're not involved in it, but
we don't have anything to do with it in,
just a little one-line thing, oh, by the way, stop by the
It's-
hotel, they
it's-
got some stuff
yeah.
going on.
so if we can do that, I mean, I don't know if there's any objections from the city to, but,
No objections from the city. It's,
Yeah.
it's your event and you can promote whatever on there, so just, you could add
I
it
mean,
to
in
the
the
schedule.
past, we've done all kinds of different things,
Yeah.
but I realize that this year, it's gonna be a little bit more focused than in the past. I mean, there have been many events in many different places, and this is gonna be a little more focused, but the Boulder Dam Hotel it's their 90th anniversary. That is, they have a, and I'll ask Tiani if she has any verbiage she'd like to use, and they have a,
Can I suggest that that not be added as an event per se? That just, like what Glenn was saying, it's just like also what's going on in Boulder City this day, or I don't know. Maybe not put it on our flyer, but on the social media post or event, I don't know. Unless they're going to do something that has a railroad, focus or information, or, that would be better, don't you think?
well, I don't think so, but it's all right. I don't,
My other thought was just, we can have a list of our stuff, and then on the bottom, the very last line maybe or something, just put a little note, oh, by the way, as you browse around the town, the hotel also has their own event going on. So if you have time, stop by and see it or something. Just, just a little one-line plug for them to let the people that are coming to our event, oh, by the way, when you get done with our event, there's another thing you can go do too here in town.
well, in a way, I can see it, because I guess you could say the same thing about Tara's place or the Dam Roast House, So
There
I-
were events there, though, last year.
Yeah, there
those
were, exactly, and I understand what you're
No
saying,
event
Blair,
at the
yeah.
hotel.
I think,
So,
yeah,
I
the
think, by the
hotel had
way,
it, yeah.
BTW, Boulder Dam Hotel is celebrating its 90th birthday today. Stop by and say hi,
Yeah,
and leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly, just something simple, just to make people aware that, oh, by the way, there's something else going on.
actually, that'd be a good way to say it, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
They're celebrating their 90th birthday, so go have a piece of cake, or whatever.
There you go. Are they having cake?
I have no idea, but if I put it in the, maybe they'd get one, I don't know.
That would be an event.
Be nice if they could reach out and work with us to, if they want us to help co-sponsor their event.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, with that, then, I guess what I'm hearing is your events for that day then will run between 8 and 12:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
pretty much.
I think that's fine, because if I remember last year, there wasn't very much, I think, what time were we done last year?
Well, we had
Well, we
that
had
forum,
that-
we had that
That
forum,
forum, and,
so we closed up a little later on, but that was, you know, that was
Yeah, I think that's.
That was an important thing going on because of all the stuff coming down, and it was a good public awareness event that was well attended and stuff, so. We're not we don't have anything like that coming up to the council or anything like that, so we can just enjoy Historic Preservation Day.
yes, I think we're done.
Okay.
So Susan, are you gonna like take all that information from tonight and put it on a new to-do list and will
Yeah.
you send it to me?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll update your task list and send it out to everybody. And then if anybody has corrections or changes, just send it back to me. So,
Perfect.
Very good. Okay, with that, we'll move on to item number 4 for possible action, update on implementation of the commission's goals and priorities.
So Commission, you have the monthly update attached, and staff can answer any questions.
Hey, did anyone have any questions or comments? Blair?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Nothing from me.
Good.
Nothing from me. I'm good. And then we'll move on to agenda item 5 for possible action. Discussion, update on the status of properties in the historic district or other potentially eligible properties.
Mr. Vice Chair, just to note, nothing new to report regarding the historic water filtration grant. But certainly, we will provide an update once we have some new information.
Great, thank you, Michael. Did you guys have anything you wanted to add to that? Okay. Okay, and then we'll move on to agenda item 6 for possible action, commission discussion regarding potential agenda items for upcoming Historic Preservation Commission meetings. Did anybody have any potential agenda items that they would like to add?
I don't.
I don't have any.
None for me. Blair?
Nothing for me, just the usual Historic Preservation Day month planning and award and, and that's it.
Well, that takes us to our final comment, public comment period for the evening. Each person has up to 5 minutes to speak on any topic, and the public may call 702-589-0000 9629 to provide comment. Okay, hearing no callers, this meeting is adjourned.
Good job.